Is this thing on? So I think that we can all agree that music peaked in 1997 when Portishead recorded the most sexy and devastating live album of all time, Roseland NYC Live. I mean, they had it all. The live orchestra, the live drums, Adrian on guitar, Beth's incredible voice, and my favorite, Geoff Barrow on the decks. I think Jeff's most iconic scratching here is on their performance of Mysterons, the insane opening track of their debut, Dummy. This is the performance that got me into turntablism, but actually incorporating scratching into my own music proved to be a bit of a challenge. I mean, a good deck is a big investment, and your other options are just... So, naturally, I spent almost a year creating my own free plugin for the most sexy and sophisticated scratching that $0 can buy. It's called Turntable Saw, and I'm going to show you how I used it to recreate Geoff Barrow's scratching from scratch. Here I already have a simple instrumental recreation of the intro to Mysterons. So to get started with our scratching, we're just going to load in a new instance of Turntable Saw into a MIDI track. Then the first thing we're going to want to do is load in a sample. Portishead was known to sample old spy films and soundtracks, but for our modern recreation, we're just going to take a voice sample straight from The Substance.
Let me introduce you to the shareholders. They have been dying to meet you.
I've got Dennis Quaid's voice line right here, and I can just drag it into an empty sample slot. And then we can crop it so that we only use the bit that we'd like to scratch with. We're going to use the part of the sample where he says dying. And now we can preview the sample by holding down the play button.
Dying?
And from here, we can use the pattern editor to create all the scratching sounds that we'd like. Each of our pattern slots has two different envelopes, one that controls the record position and another that controls the fader, which are the two same controls as on a normal deck. So to give this a try, we can load in a preset and press the play button or trigger it with MIDI to hear what it sounds like. So the first pattern that we need for our recreation is called a tear scratch, which is going to give us the wah sound that we're looking for from Geoff's solo. First, we'll give our pattern a length of 1 beat, and then start adding notes to our record position envelope to create the shape. A tear scratch has 3 distinct sounds. First, the record pushing forwards, and then 2 half turns that take us back to the start. So if we click and drag, this will be our first push forwards, and then we can create a plateau in the middle that will divide the reverse sound into 2 distinct parts. So altogether, our tear scratch sounds like this. So the tear scratch only needed to make use of the record position envelope, but now we'll work on the chirp scratch, a pattern that makes use of the fader envelope as well. The record motion of the chirp scratch is very simple, just 1 push forward and 1 push backward to the start. It sounds like this. But now we can make use of the fader to split the sound into 2 shorter segments that we can call chirps. We can use the plateau tool to quickly create a short closed fader segment in the middle of our scratch. And we're already done. You might notice that the fader moves almost impossibly fast the way that we wrote it. So for that reason, I created a feature called Momentum that helps to humanize our edits. We can adjust the momentum of the bottom envelope by adjusting this bottom wheel here, and you'll see that a progressively smoother line appears, which represents the actual motion of the fader. So this curve is much less dramatic, much less robotic, and it helps to give our fader envelope a more human feel. I've gone ahead and filled in the rest of our pattern slots with new scratches and drawn in the MIDI to help recreate Geoff's solo with a bit of a twist. There's so many more features in Turntable Saw that I'm excited to show you, but for now, enjoy this cover of Mysterons by Portishead.
Crying